Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan. And in this video, we are going to be talking about Leonard Fournette, who has found a new home. He doesn't have to go that far, just a little bit to the southwest, staying in the state of Florida, but now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it seems like that's where everybody wants to go. So, kind of a surprise, kind of not, kind of depends how you think about it, but Leonard Fournette is a Buccaneer. Tyler did call that if you saw our Instagram post, so shout out to him. Let's talk about Fournette in Tampa.
I think I deserve to start since I call it. I mean,
That's fair.
is that not fair, Jordan?
I don't think that's fair. I always start.
I don't know. Let's change it up this time. Cause
New table
who
rule.
did you think he was going? You said the Bears.
I said
and
the Bears.
Washington,
Yeah.
football team. But no, I got it right with the Buccaneers. It didn't surprise me at all. I felt fairly confident this is where he was going to go because Buccaneers still had cap space even after signing all these people. And Leonard Fournette was going to be cheap because they tried to trade him. No one wanted him. Doug Marrone came out and said himself, we were trying to trade Leonard Fournette, but no one would take him. So the Buccaneers saw it. I'm sure Tom was saying, hey, Bruce, hey, you see that guy? Let's go get him. I heard he's cheap. We can make this team better. And it's incredible to think they just add another piece to it. Yeah, and Ryan mentioned it at the beginning. The Buccaneers are getting basically everyone. That a lot of big names. They got Tom Brady. That was the first one. That was a shocker of basically all of free agency. Tom Brady switched teams to go to the Buccaneers. But for them, it did not stop there. LaShawn McCoy became a free agent. They signed him. More people like Rob Gronkowski, he was not technically a free agent, but when Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers, he said, all right, I'll take Gronk back. And they got a trade, because technically the Patriots still did own Rob Gronkowski, since Gronkowski was still there. They got a trade for him, so they acquired him. They also got Leonard Fournette in this move. They are getting everybody. Their roster is really coming together, and you look at their core group of guys, Tom Brady, all these running backs that they have, two that I mentioned, and Ronald Jones, who's actually at number one on the depth chart, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, and their offensive line is getting better. On paper, this offense is looking like it could be really, really good.
Yeah, it is. And just when you look at Tampa's rushing last year, they were 24th in the league, so, towards the bottom. And I think part of that is because Bruce Arians likes to throw the ball a lot. He's saying risk it or biscuit. I know that'll probably stay the same, but also remember their offensive line wasn't the best. But now with Fournette, I'm eager to see, will this run-pass ratio change? Will this rushing attack from Tampa get a lot better? Because, again, you also have to look at the offensive line, because that's always a factor, because he didn't have the best one in Jacksonville, especially last year. So I really am interested to see, how the different scenario affects Fournette, because sometimes the change of scenery is really good. And I'm sure you'll read off his stats in a second, so I don't want to steal that from you. But, it's not like Fournette was doing horrible. I just don't think he was getting the attention. And people, remember, this guy was the 4th overall pick, so the expectations are sky high for a guy like that. So, you might think he's declined a lot, but when you look at the stats that Jordan's about to read, you'll say, oh, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming into this video, before I pulled up the stats, I myself was thinking, okay, he's not bad. I still like Fournette, but I do feel like he had an off year last year. In terms of yardage, he did not. He actually produced a decent amount of yards. Just the one thing he can point to is the touchdowns. That's why he was overlooked last season. Nobody was paying attention to him because he got so few touchdowns. So now moving to the stats. He had 265 rushes for 1,152 yards. Getting over that 1,000-yard rushing mark is an accomplishment for any running back in the NFL. I didn't know that he got over it. I thought he was under it, honestly, coming into this video. Looking at the stats, obviously, it says something different. Now we go to the touchdowns. Only 3 touchdowns last year. So that is a big one. That's why he was overlooked. That's why people don't like him that much. Why he was not a highly sought-out guy when they were trying to get trades, because he just didn't seem too flashy with those touchdowns. I mean, that's his thing. He's supposed to be a big guy. When you get close to the end zone, you pound it in. Ryan has a video where he did not pound it in.
He did not get it.
That's kind of his job as a big running back. He's got to do that. And he just did not produce 6 enough last year. And I think that was a big problem. I still like Fournette. The injuries are definitely a problem as well. He had him in 2018. He was out for 8 games in that season because of injuries. So I think that could have been a concern. So that's my analysis of Leonard Fournette. All right. Yeah, that was a pretty good analysis of Leonard Fournette. I think he did a good job. But not to mention all the turmoil that was going on in the Jacksonville Jaguars organization,
I'm sure
especially last year. I mean, honestly, I would definitely agree with you on that. I'm sure he was waiting for his day. He watched all of his friends go away on the team, and all the earlier picks of their best players. He's like, when am I going to be here?
Sure, they didn't trade much of his friends on offense because they all sucked anyway.
Well, yeah, but a lot of the defenders are gone, and I think they only
Except
have
for DJ Chark.
They have
defenders.
I was talking about.
Okay, he's a lot of this.
Oh yeah, all the defenders are gone. Except I think there's I saw them there's only 2 from when they were in the AFC Championship a couple of years ago.
That's crazy.
The Jacksonville defense. So it kind of just shows that. So to talk about it from both sides of the trade, and the release and the pickup, like the Jacksonville Jaguars, that's kind of typical of what we're seeing. Seems like they're tanking now for sure.
Oh, they're in a rebuild mode.
Yeah.
And if at this point, if you disagree with that, you might want to check the facts. But going back to the Buccaneers, I love it. I saw a picture of him in the Buccaneers uniform.
That I will say does
looked very nice. I think they have 3 really good running backs now. Not really good, but good enough running backs. They got LaShawn McCoy. Jordan mentioned that earlier. And then they've had Ronald Jones III there for a couple of years now. So that's going to be really exciting, not to mention the quarterback that's going to be in the backfield with him, the line that they improved even in the draft, the receivers on offense. I mean, this offense really does not have a weakness. I didn't mention Rob Gronkowski at tight end. Everywhere you look on this offense is really just stellar. And the one spot you could look at and say, was running back, but now they just got a 4th overall pick.
Yeah, and before they got Fournette, you may look, and at least I looked, and I said, okay, they got some solid guys, but no one here really screams, number 1 guy or feature back. And sometimes that's okay. Look at San Francisco last year. Look at what some other teams did. They had that committee. They was kind of 1 week it'd be this guy, carrying the load, and the next week it'd be this guy. They switch on you. But now I think when you look at Tampa, sometimes you do need that power back. Where the committee approach is, not working, or if it's a late December snowy game. I know they're in Tampa, but say they're playing up north somewhere. I don't know. I'm not looking at their schedule, and it's cold and snowy, and it's a ground and pound game. That's where you could use a guy like Fournette, and that's where the committee and dink and dunk game might not work. So I think this move will definitely pay dividends for Tampa, but might be in some more specific ways, like I said, not just in the broad spectrum. So definitely interesting storylines to watch with Fournette all throughout the year.
Yes. Yeah, just going back to the running back situation in Tampa, going back to 2019, there was kind of this dance between Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber, which one was going to be the guy. Most of the time, the answer was none of them. But it seems like I'm not a Buccaneers fan, so I'm not personally following this team very greatly. But as a fantasy football fan, I'm looking at guys like Peyton Barber, like Ronald Jones. Peyton Barber was with them last year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I
make sure I get my facts straight. Now he's with the Redskins. Or not Redskins, Washington.
Woo! Yeah, Ryan.
I wasn't done.
So
there was kind of this weird dance between them. None of them really came out and showed that they were the guy. I know there was hope for Ronald Jones. There was hope for Barber. It just never seemed to really come out. No one seems to be the guy. And now, hopefully, it could be Leonard Fournette. And then one more thing that I did want to mention. This is kind of changing gears a little bit. It's still on the topic of Leonard Fournette, but it's less about the Buccaneers. It's more about just the situation that he was in. Because I'm confused on why the Jaguars wanted to get rid of him so much. I understand if they were trying to trade a 4th-round pick for something good, something to rebuild their team, maybe a decent player or a draft pick. Yeah. But the fact is that they wanted to trade this guy. Nobody would want him. And
that
surprises me too. Yeah, that's surprising me. But then they just up and release him. Yeah. You got nothing out of that. A 4th-round pick you just wasted. You could have got maybe even a late-round draft pick. Someone must have given you a 6th or 7th round draft pick for this guy, maybe even sooner. Nobody seemed to do that for this guy. It's just very interesting. It makes me wonder, was there something else behind this? Was there issues in the locker room?
Something
was there
we don't know.
A bad physical that was there? Is there something we don't know, as Ryan said? So that's just a big question mark with this. Yeah. Is why were the Jaguars so eager to get rid of him for nothing? They gained nothing from getting rid of him. Right?
Yeah, people are.
I don't even know who their starting running back is now.
Did we look that up? I
think that sounds about right. I think I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, it's people are just they're just forgetting about the fact that Jacksonville released him. We're just thinking about Tampa signed him, but Jacksonville released him. We got more questions about that. You know what I mean?
No, we got plenty of questions, but I mentioned this before as well that it doesn't seem like Leonard Fournette would be happy in Jacksonville. Why would he be?
I don't think anyone's happy.
I'm sure
maybe Gardner.
Him and Doug Marrone and the whole organization, even at the top of it, they all had this coming for a while. He was ready to get out of there. Like I said, Leonard Fournette watched all of his teammates, the best on the team, just leave. I'm sure he was tired of it. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars were like, well, we can't get a trade for you. You're just becoming toxic to our locker room with no good players in anyway. So we're going to get rid of you because that's their logic. But going back to Ryan's point, he made this a lot earlier. He was talking about the end of the season. Actually, it doesn't seem to be much of a factor. I mean, you look at it, like they play teams like the Vikings and the Chiefs, but that's at home.
Oh, that's good.
A lot of it is when they play the Lions, but that's in home. Yeah. So that shouldn't be much of an issue, but either way, they still have 3 really good running backs, and it's going to be really exciting to see what that team can do as
playing in these colder areas anyway, so he'll be fine.
And I'm glad you brought up Tom, because I wonder, now, he's 43, he's still got some stuff left in the tank, but he is not what he once was. So I wonder, Tampa, I just want to clarify, they passed 62.34% of the time last year. That's the 7th highest pass percentage of any team in the league. So I wonder if that will go down a little bit.
I think it was at 2. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting, actually.
And Atlanta at 1.
Atlanta at 1 doesn't surprise me. But I wonder with, having a different type of quarterback, a guy who's in the back end of his career. I'm not trying to take shots at Tom Brady. He's still a great football player, and he's a good fit for that team. So don't think I'm, saying, bad things about him.
He's 43
Yeah,
years
it does
old.
make sense.
There has to be a point where his career is going to decline and come to an end.
Yeah, so I would be shocked if Tampa is this high in the pass percentage rankings. Again, I expect them to run the ball a little more. I don't know how big it's going to be, but Bruce, risk it or biscuit, so I'm sure he's going to be doing a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be something to definitely watch, especially with Leonard Fournette being there now, having a decently stacked running back room. We didn't talk about Keyshawn Vaughn, who they got in the draft. Or was he undrafted?
No, they got him. They drafted him.
Okay. You just gave me a look there. I learned to look at them to see if I'm saying things wrong. But, I'm not always wrong. So, anyways, it'll be fun to watch Leonard Fournette with the Buccaneers, but also if you're a football fan, and even if you're living under a rock, you still might know that that Tom Brady is gone there, Gronk is there now, they're reunited. There's a lot of hype behind this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. It goes far beyond Leonard Fournette, so it should be really, really fun to see how they can live up to the hype this year. What are they going to get done? Is Brady going to do good? Is Fournette not going to get injured like usual? Is he going to produce? How are the wide receivers going to do? How is Gronk going to do after a year off of football? 1 or 2 years? 1 year off of football.
Feels longer.
A lot of questions, a lot of hype. And also Antoine Winfield, Tyler's favorite player in the draft, on this team as well. He's actually listed in the starting roster, so I just want to mention that for Tyler. He's a safety on defense, if you didn't know. I don't know what they're clicking over there, but
we're just looking at something recently. I'm trying to show Ryan something. Oh, you can't. Anyways, one last point I wanted to make. It's about kind of what we saw last year with the Browns, that the hype for the Buccaneers team as a whole, especially with the addition of Leonard Fournette now, even I'm starting to think, how could this team not be good? Is it going to be too much for them to handle? I know Tom Brady's there and he can handle anything. He's the GOAT. But it just seems like there's a lot of young players there. I think it would work out. You look at this team on paper and it says Super Bowl. It screams it at you. But I don't know. Could the expectations be too much?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but I know that is definitely a narrative to at least throw out there.
Tough division they're in, too.
Yes.
New Orleans, they're always good. Atlanta's always supposed to be good. And then Carolina, I think they might, they might spoil a few teams, runs this year. I don't think they'll be that good themselves, but, I think Carolina's a little underrated.
Upset win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
so,
also get
competitive
losses as well, probably in there as well.
Yeah. So I believe that's all we have to say about Leonard Fournette, officially added to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not sure on the contract details yet. We're doing this right as we got the news. So I'm sure you'll see that somewhere. I might put it in the comments if you really want to go see it. I might forget, but it'll be there if I remember what the deal is. Yes, they do. They're not stopping.
I'm glad the
roster gets more and more stacked. Leonard Fournette, a Buccaneer. Exciting news to hear. NFL season coming up very soon.
Yep.
So exciting as well. So yeah, that's going to conclude the video. Make sure to like this video if you liked what we said. Comment about Leonard Fournette, about the Buccaneers, about the Jaguars, whatever your opinions are on anything we said in this video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we post a video.
You want to be notified.
Yes, you do. And with that,
I'm notified.
we'll see you guys later.
See ya.